What if a weak, bullied kid who barely survived one street fight suddenly had to face a professional Taekwondo monster who destroys people for fun? Just when Hobin's channel starts blowing up with a cute new editor and millions of views, his biggest nightmare appears. Taehoon, a former Taekwondo champion who can break arcade machines with a single kick. This guy doesn't just want money, he wants people to feel helpless. And after stealing Hobin's channel, humiliating Snapper, and nearly sending everyone to the hospital, Hobin has only 1 month to become strong enough to survive. From brutal underwater training, to a crazy bathroom fight on slippery floors, to one of the most intense comeback wins in viral hit history, this arc changes everything. And just when Hobin finally wins, an even bigger monster starts targeting Bomi. This is where a viral hit goes from fun fights to absolute insanity. Everyone expects an old man, but the new editor turns out to be a cute high school girl. Her reputation is not great, though. She gets bullied, and once she starts talking, the charm drops because she sounds like an old man. Turns out she learned Korean from some site full of older guys. Snapper immediately starts clowning her for it, but the moment he points at her, she calmly grabs his finger and tells him it is rude. That alone sends him spiraling into a full-blown delusion where he imagines coming home to her as his wife with a puppy. The fantasy goes so far he tries to pet it, only for the dog to snap him back to reality. Now completely folded, Snapper starts simping, even slipping up and calling her honey. Yul ignores it and shows Hobin the intro video she made for the channel. It is clean, sharp, and way better than expected. She even edited the Paco humiliation clip and covered the embarrassing part with an emoji. Hobin hires her instantly. The reason she wanted the job is simple. She saw him stand up to a bully, and as someone who gets targeted herself, she respected that. They announce her as the new editor on the channel. Meanwhile, Bomi is still watching Viral Hit. She feels hurt seeing uploads while Hobin keeps ignoring her calls. Later, she visits a gaming zone and sees a guy sitting in the middle of a pile of bodies. A gang member steps up, demanding payback, but the guy just asks if he has 500 yen. This is Taehoon, a Taekwondo fighter known for being too violent. The moment Snapper hears about him, he wants Hobin to fight him next. Hobin immediately wants no part of it. Yul shuts down the idea that Taekwondo is just flashy kicks. Street Taekwondo is brutal and built for real damage. Taehoon proves it when another thug rushes him. He plants his feet, rotates his hips, and fires a spinning back kick straight into him. The power comes from the full body rotation and the snap of the leg, and when it lands, it drops the guy instantly. Hobin hears all this and knows he is nowhere near ready for someone like that. Snapper, however, keeps pushing, asking if he is really going to back down now and disappoint everyone watching. One of Hobin's followers finally explains who Taehoon really is, and the story alone is enough to make anybody rethink their life. He is not just some bully. He is a full demon wearing a school uniform, a former Taekwondo champion who quit and now spends his time terrorizing people for fun and money. What makes him worse than the average thug is how he picks his victims apart. If he wants somebody's limited edition Jordans, he does not always kick the owner first. He asks nicely, and if the guy refuses, he beats up the owner's best friend instead. That is the kind of freak Taehoon is. He does not just want stuff. He wants people to feel helpless, ashamed, and powerless. Hobin's face goes pale. These people really expect him to fight a guy who treats cruelty like a side hustle. The subscriber still hypes him up, Snapper wants him to teach Taehoon a lesson, and Eel is itching to help too, even if she has the strength of a butterfly and the durability of a watermelon. Hobin just sits there wondering how his life turned into fighting strangers because strangers on the internet said it would be good content. Then they see Taehoon in action. He walks up on a fat guy and 2 gangsters, and when the fat one starts mouthing off, Taehoon does not even punish him first. Instead, he blasts the guy's friend with a kick so hard it knocks the air clean out of him. Then he casually asks the fat guy for 500 yen because he wants to hit the arcade. The guy calls Taekwondo a flashy sport and rushes him, which turns out to be the worst possible choice. Taehoon drops his bag, spins, and uses the turn to slide right behind him before whipping a roundhouse kick into the side of his head. The power comes from the hip rotation and the speed of the leg, and it lands before the guy can reset. When the fat guy tries to read the next kick, Taehoon switches legs at the last second and keeps cracking him until the apology and the money come out. Then he goes after the others too, raising the amount from 500 yen to 50,000 to 5 million just because humiliating people is what he enjoys most. Snapper films the whole thing, which is exactly how everything goes wrong. Later, Taehoon calls Hobin out for the match of a lifetime, then shows up asking why Snapper was recording him. Snapper somehow talks his way out by saying he wanted to see what a Taekwondo master could do, and even Hobin has to respect the glazing. Then Yule appears and makes things even messier. Taehoon is not interested in letting any of them go. To prove it, he starts kicking Snapper over and over, then leans toward Hobin and asks the same question he asks everybody. Does he have 500 yen? Taehoon leans in, asking Hobin if he has 500 yen like it is the most normal thing in the world. Hobin just stands there, trying to process what kind of monster he is dealing with, while Taehoon casually swings his leg again, putting his full weight behind it and smashing Snapper so hard the spit flies out of his mouth. Yule freezes watching it unfold, while Taehoon asks again for the channel like nothing just happened. Snapper, barely holding it together, says they worked hard for that channel and this is not fair. Hobin tries to negotiate, but before he can even finish a sentence, a sneaker appears inches from his face. The speed makes no sense. He cannot even track how Taehoon's leg travels that far that fast. That is when it hits him. This is not Paco. This is a completely different level. His brain starts running simulations. Could a calf kick work? He imagines throwing one, only to eat a kick straight to the face. What about an overhead hook? That ends with a back kick slamming into his solar plexus. Every option he thinks of gets shut down instantly. There is no path to victory. So he gives up the channel. That is not what Taehoon wanted. He slaps Hobin across the face, annoyed that there is no fight in him. Hobin barely reacts, just asking if he is done now. Later, they end up at the hospital. Snapper's ribs are fractured, but he still refuses to let the channel go. Hobin, however, cannot see a way forward. Paco was one thing, but Taehoon is something else entirely. No matter how many techniques he learns, he feels like he will just get crushed. He asks Snapper if he is not scared too, then apologizes before turning away. Yule shows up, trying to lift the mood, saying they will bounce back soon. Snapper smiles, but inside he is burning. He wanted to look cool in front of her and ended up getting destroyed instead. Hobin hears that frustration, and it reminds him of his own humiliation in front of Bomi. Meanwhile, Taehoon is at an arcade, playing Street Fighters. Nobody dares to beat him because losing in-game means getting beaten in real life. Then Hobin walks in and beats him. That gets Taehoon's attention instantly. Taehoon walks up, asking if Hobin has a death wish. Instead, Hobin calmly says he will hand over the channel, but if Taehoon has the guts, he should wait 1 month. 1 month to prepare, then they settle it in a one-on-one fight. Taehoon tries to intimidate him by smashing an arcade machine with a kick, showing exactly what he is capable of, then tells him to pick the time, the place, and his grave. Later, Hobin explains everything to the others. Snapper asks why he changed his mind, but Hobin already knows the answer. Running away will not fix anything. With only 1 month left, he leaves to train, saying he needs to find Chicken Sensei and push himself further than ever before. Chicken Sensei reveals how he can actually win against a professional athlete as an amateur. First up, an amateur fighter can't win in front of a Taekwondo champion. Hobin feels his hopes being crushed, wondering what he is supposed to do. But Chicken Sensei tells them not to fear, for he is here. There is a chance that they can actually beat the brilliant footwork and powerful kicks of a Taekwondo warrior. And that's by fighting outside of the ring. After all, he is not here to teach them how to win tournaments. A Taekwondo fighter's main attacks are powerful kicks and his footwork. All they need to do is pick a location where they can't kick no matter what. Since Taehoon told Hobin that he could pick the location that is the icing on the cake, he will look for somewhere cramped and if not, then somewhere slippery. And he will also pick a rainy day so they can have a fight that goes in his favor. Once he has chosen the venue, all he needs to do is drill his calf kicks and overhead hooks so that he can use them even in his sleeve. He starts working like crazy, kicking a sack of rice like it owes him money, swimming with his fists close and terrorizing kids by showing them his woody, swinging out of the hoodie. Now that he has the stamina and willpower and his attacks are perfect, Chicken Sensei reveals he still can't win. With only 5% chances of winning, he needs to learn another skill, the tackle. The tackle is a bad matchup for a Taekwondo champion. That's how, with no gym and no training place, Hobin ended up training underwater. He held his bed, going against the currents and standing in a cold shower while terrorizing a kid by showing his woody out of the hoodie. That's when Snapper and Yule arrive at his apartment trying to see what he's up to on livestream. They find Hobin hanging inside of his closet. The Cloud clowns him for hiding inside of his closet. They also wonder what's this strange bag he's made out of power cords. That's his personal makeshift punching bag. He starts hauling it over and over again and doing crunches and sit-ups, struggling to train his core and abs. After all, he needs to build up a body that can withstand at least one kick. Yule realizes what he's going for and starts stomping on his abs to give him even more resistance. The crowd goes wild and some of them wish that they were in Hobin's place. Everyone is holding their bat because the day of the fight is finally here. All Hobin needs to do is make sure the ground is slippery. But it turns out his luck decides to abandon him. It's sunny as hell. There are signs of rain. And if the terrain isn't slippery, he's going to get humiliated just like what happened with Park Go. He runs away in fear and Snapper runs after him. Taehoon looks at the live stream and feels someone splash water all over him. It turns out Hobin has cornered him in the bathroom and drenched the whole place with a water hose. He then rushes towards Taehoon but gets punched instead. Taehoon wonders, did he really think he wouldn't use his fists? Taehoon crouches and blasts Hobin in the face, making it clear this is a street fight, not a tournament. Hobin forces himself back up, and the crowd instantly loses it. Snapper can only watch his bro get the Will Smith treatments around over and over while Taehoon keeps the pressure on with non-stop punches. Hobin's head is spinning so hard he can barely think, but he still whips a calf kick in a hard arc and lands it flush. Taehoon winces and drops for a second, and Hobin almost wonders if that is really all he has got. But those punches are brutal. Hobin can feel himself getting close to blacking out, even with the water shoes he bought for this exact fight. He trained underwater for a month and wore them to get better grip on slippery ground, but Taehoon is still smashing him. Hobin somehow smiles for the camera and jokes that he cannot pass out in under 3 minutes or the video will be useless for ads. Even the subscribers laugh because this man is worried about content while getting his face remodeled. Taehoon keeps swinging. Hobin dodges one, then another, but something feels wrong. On a floor this slick, Taehoon should not be moving that clean. Then a punch lands flush and nearly shuts Hobin down. That is when he realizes it. Taehoon is using elite footwork to slide across the wet surface and close distance without losing balance. Even so, Hobin keeps firing calf kicks. Taehoon grunts that he is starting to piss him off, while Hobin laughs through the pain because right now his whole strategy is just getting punched in the face until the calf kicks add up. It is ugly, but it is doing something. Before every kick, Hobin loudly calls out the move. Snapper finally figures out why. He is trying to make Taehoon expect the calf kick every time. So when Taehoon braces for the next one, Hobin suddenly changes levels and shoots in for the tackle. This time he remembers Chicken Sensei's lesson. Do not tackle high. Grab under the knee and pull the leg to break the balance. Hobin gets him down and pulls back his fist, but stops himself. Instead of punching, he wraps his arms around Taehoon's neck and crosses the choke over the carotid arteries. That is why he spent a month hanging from a pole in his closet. He was building the squeeze to choke him out. He starts counting to 10. But in his desperation, he forgets to control Taehoon with his legs. Taehoon laughs, punches him right off, then grabs one of Hobin's water shoes and slips it on. And just like that, everyone realizes the same thing. This man is not planning to leave any victims today. Kim watches Hobin's fight in full HD and asks Bomi if she really is not going to watch. This time, he is fighting a professional. She is still mad that Hobin never answered her calls, but the second Kim says professional, her anger cracks and worry takes over. Kim studies the screen for a moment, realizes Hobin did not lock the grip properly, and turns it off. At that point, there is nothing they can do for him. Back in the fight, Snapper is screaming at Hobin to wake up. He is lying there dazed in a puddle while Taehoon calmly slips on the stolen right water shoe. Hobin starts wondering if all that miserable training was for nothing. Even the chat cannot reach him. Then Snapper yells the one thing that does, money. That snaps Hobin back to life. He thanks the chat, drags himself upright, and immediately realizes how bad this just got. Taehoon stole the right shoe, and since that is his dominant kicking leg, the power on his calf kicks is going to drop if he has to use the left. Then Taehoon's foot appears inches from his face. Chicken Sensei already warned him. If a Taekwondo master gets his kicking game back, the fight is basically over. The first kick slams into him like a truck. Hobin folds over his solar plexus, trying not to black out while his lungs refuse to work. Snapper yells for him to get ready, but the second Hobin tries to answer with a punch, Taehoon kicks him in the head again. He is too far away for the overhead hook to reach, and every time Hobin looks for a calf kick, Taehoon's footwork shuts it down. He keeps sliding into angle after angle and whipping kicks from everywhere. That is the nightmare of a real Taekwondo fighter. They do not just kick hard, they kick from any position. Then Taehoon gets even crueler. To punish Hobin for using that right leg, he lifts his own leg and stomps down on Hobin's foot, crushing it in multiple spots. The crowd starts begging Hobin to stop. Taehoon just spins and drives in a back kick, the kind of strike that wrecks you even when it is not perfect, then leans down and tells him to give up. He even tells Snapper that he works for him now. Snapper screams for Hobin to stop, but not because he wants Taehoon to win. He just does not want to watch him get destroyed anymore. Hobin still gets up. Through the pain, he mutters that he is going to use his surroundings. He backs into a bathroom stall and the crowd starts roaring. Taehoon walks in, shifts his weight, and loads up another back kick. But this time, Hobin is waiting. In one motion, he grabs the top of the stall, pulls himself up, wraps his legs around Taehoon's torso, and drags him down. Then he grabs the front of Taehoon's Hobin and crosses his arms tight. This time, he does not panic. Kim looks back at the stream and instantly sees the difference. The form is clean now. The choke is locked right. It is a baseball choke. And Taehoon's eyes are already starting to fade. Back when Taehoon challenged Hobin, he did not even see him as a person. To him, Hobin was just a crash dummy. Somebody he could kick whenever he felt like it. That is why the moment this barely 5-foot fighter used the bathroom stall, locked in a baseball choke, and made him feel helpless and ashamed, reality finally hit him. It felt exactly like the fight that ended his career. The first time he ever lost, the first time he was the one feeling small. That was the moment that twisted him into the kind of guy who wanted others to feel the same pain. Presently, Taehoon starts trying to tap out, and Snapper lights up because he thinks the nightmare is finally over. The problem is, Hobin does not hear any of it. Adrenaline is flooding his brain so hard that the only thing he can hear is Chicken Sensei, telling him to make sure the opponent stays down. So, instead of letting go, he keeps counting. He holds the choke tighter and tighter until Taehoon finally goes cold. The chat explodes. And just like that, the same thing that destroyed Taehoon's pride back then happens again. He loses to a baseball choke after trying to tap. The worst part is that the guy who beat him with it the first time was Kim himself. When Taehoon wakes up, the first thing he sees is Hobin and Snapper massaging his calves. He is completely baffled. The two of them awkwardly explain that they were making sure nobody stole his stuff, especially the watch he kept checking during the fight since it looked important. Taehoon instantly covers his face, humiliated all over again, then shoves Hobin away and tells him to get lost. If they ever meet again, he says, Hobin is ending up in the hospital. Hobin ends the stream, but not before squeezing in a body spray promo by acting like he is drenched after a grueling fight. Then UL works her editing magic, and the video blows up with 3 million views on the first day. His subscribers shoot up again, and for the first time in a while, life starts looking decent. Hobin even starts thinking Taehoon might not be that bad deep down, especially remembering how he looked when he got his watch back. Snapper is not buying that at all, though he does point out that people are obsessed with Taehoon's face card while he was passed out. He says if Taehoon opens a YouTube channel, people will probably follow him just for being handsome. Meanwhile, Bomi is watching Hobin's video when some giant gorilla of a man starts hitting on her. This dude looks like he eats Mike Tyson for breakfast and keeps asking for her number. She remembers how Hobin once saved her from getting harassed and wishes she had stayed with him when he got beaten half to death. Then, somewhere else, people at a butcher shop are struggling to lift a heavy cut of meat until a huge brute casually picks it up while eating a burger. He starts wondering if beating Hobin, the rising star online, might be the perfect way to boost his own tiny channel. This man is Mangi. Yul is trying to practice sounding less like an old man when a group of classmates rolls up and starts bullying her again. One of them shoves her, and the rest clown her for thinking getting hit without getting hurt is some cool technique. She swings at one of them, but he uses that same trick against her and calls her a soft, bald old man. While they keep piling on, Snapper rushes in like he is about to save his damsel in distress. 2 seconds later, he is face first on the ground. Yul still yells that the technique is not trash. One of them raises a hand to slap her, but Hobin steps in and catches it. Then reality hits him. He is outnumbered, everybody is taller, and fate is still doing him dirty. So he tries a different approach and puts on his coldest face, asking them if they have 500 yen. Without missing a beat, one of them actually hands him a coin, and the whole group bursts out laughing. Did he really think he was Taehoon? One of them is just about to swing when a teacher shows up and kills the fight. Later, Snapper starts acting like a war hero, wondering if Yul now thinks he is cool. He even complains to Hobin that he was ready to die for her while Hobin only stepped in because they mocked his technique. Hobin admits that is exactly why he got mad. Then Snapper leans toward Yul, ruffles her hair, and tells her not to worry because one day he will teach her how to handle people like that. Bro accidentally buffed her affection meter without even knowing it. After that, Hobin keeps thinking about Kim and how they are basically bros now. Kim also told him he should talk to Bomi because ghosting her is not a good look. Yul, meanwhile, starts having weird thoughts about Hobin, smacks her plushie around, and decides to text him while wondering how to get closer. Bomi, on the other hand, runs into that sentient gorilla again, and he starts asking for her number like he did not learn basic human behavior. She feels unsafe and seriously wants this man behind bars. Later, Hobin shows up at the burger joint and awkwardly asks how she is doing, then tries to order strawberry shaved ice. She makes it anyway and tells him to get out of the line. Hobin knows she has every right to be mad, so he is ready to take the loss, but then she notices he wrote his script on his hand and starts laughing. Just like that, the tension melts. Hobin keeps asking if she is cool with him now, but then Bomi gets jealous about the cute editor he hired and asks if he thinks she is pretty. And right then, Yul arrives and asks him the exact same question. Hobin stutters, no way did he got caught up in baby mama drama after winning the fight of his life. He very nervously wonders what he thinks about the question, and she wanted his opinion on some policies. She even starts hitting him with a surprise attack, and he counters it with a get hit without getting hurt. Bomi realizes that she really is pretty. Yul then hands her a special gift package to smooth her feelings over with Hobin. She becomes one of the best ring mans in history by yapping about how Hobin is all over Bomi and really loves her, but being a knuckleheaded buffoon, he can't apologize straight. Bomi finally smiles and tells Hobin to text her. Hobin can't believe that things are really moving in his way. Yul then books it. She leaves, deciding to talk to them at another time. She also reassures Bomi that their relationship is really professional. Later, she's singing all alone and also cursing for Hobin being so smooth operator. Next day, Bomi is walking down the street, texting with Hobin when someone pranks her with a toy snake. Hobin and the gang are looking at the bullies that target Yul perform another prank video. They're all smiles and sunshine for the camera, while in reality they're garbage. They even have 700,000 subscribers. That's enough to convince Hobin to start pranking videos himself. Yul, on the other hand, wonders if it's worth it. The bullies arrive and start targeting them again, calling them washed-up newbies. Snapper reads that pranking videos are not as easy as it seems. After all, anything can go off script. Later, Hobin gets a text from Bomi that she's gotten hurt. With her leg in cast, Kim arrives and asks what happened. Turns out she was minding her own business when these group of baboons pranked her with a toy snake. She accidentally sprained her ekin, and a car almost ran her over. And the thing that pissed her off the most was they were enjoying it. Hobin hears all of this and is pissed as hell. He apologizes for not being the first one to check in on her. He then leaves with determination burning in his eyes. After all, he has his new target. He gathers the crew and gets ready to go light and confront those crappy pranksters. Hobin goes back to Chicken Sensei looking for a way to fight multiple opponents, but the answer is brutal. Do not. The second he hears that, he drops the idea of throwing hands altogether. Snapper asks if Bomi getting hurt was not the wake-up call he needed, but Hobin has already made up his mind. He still wants payback. He just knows there is no way he is beating 3 people at once, so the smartest move is to expose them instead. For the first time, Chicken Sensei's lessons are not pushing him toward victory in a fight, they are pushing him toward survival. Meanwhile, the prank crew keeps uploading the same fake garbage. In one video, one of them pretends to be a gangster and scares a girl until she cries. In another, their leader gets caught by police for smoking in a no-smoking area. They laugh it up, already dreaming about the 20 million yen they think is coming their way. Hobin and the others watch from the sidelines, and Snapper quickly points out why the whole thing feels fake. How did the police show up that fast over something that minor? The answer is obvious. Too many channels stage their content, and that alone should be enough to bury them. Then Rumi shows up asking for a collab. She even suggests a coffee spill prank on her dress. Hobin shuts that down immediately. He tells her he is never faking content, and if she wants stage trash, she can go work with the prank crew instead. So that is exactly what she does. She joins them, films the prank, and even smiles while talking trash about her own subscribers, saying people do not care what is real as long as it looks believable. The prank crew keeps running their mouths too, and then things get worse. Their next idea is to target Hobin's channel. They want to spread rumors that Viral Hit is fake and scripted, because whether it is true or not does not matter. Once the rumor starts, the crowd will do the rest. Rumi gets nervous when they drag her into it, but when they threaten to expose her for trash-talking her audience, she flips it on them. She was recording the whole time too. That is when Hobin and the crew finally step in wearing leather Hobinets. Snapper reveals the prank crew for the frauds they are, while the crowd instantly starts praising Rumi for pulling off the setup perfectly. She really was a queen in disguise. She even high-fives Hobin as the whole mood shifts. Now it is showtime. Hobin walks toward the leader, and for some reason, he suddenly looks taller than usual. The crowd notices it too, and everybody starts wondering what exactly he is about to do. Chicken Sensei was telling Hobin over and over again that he can't win against multiple people, just of no use. And this is not an anime. If he really wants to win, he needs to master at least 10 of his techniques, but he suggests that the viewer gives up before he runs away, and Hobin loses his cool. He explains that they can still pull off victory by looking intimidating. That's how gorillas do it all the time, and that's how praying mantis ward off bigger animals, and that's what our boy is doing in front of these clowns. All three of them back away, and Hobin asks if they think he is a pushover. He continues his act of intimidation until everyone is about to lose their bladder control. That's when our boy fumbles it all by exposing how he was wearing insoles to appear taller. He still tries to keep the act going, and one of the clowns punch him in the shoulder, only to realize that he is wearing shoulder pads. They realize that he is just a pushover, but for some reason, Hobin isn't scared. After fighting with Taehoon, these guys are a walk in the park. He hits Fatty with a calf kick and intercepts his punch by leaning closer and intercepting it with a getting hit without getting hurt technique. Just then, he is about to finish the fight by swinging his arm for an overhand hook when one of the jerks stomp on him. They have him surrounded. Hobin is still focusing on his strategy. Snapper calls him out and Hobin runs away, but he's not running away to avoid the fight. Instead, for the first time in his life, he's using his brain and not relying on any of Chicken Sensei's videos. He goes into a narrow alley to ensure they can't gang up on him. He then sweeps his leg, delivering a devastating calf kick. Everyone freezes. For some reason it worked, and Kim is also looking at the stream with a bunch of other fighters. Kim explains that Hobin had practiced calf kick 10,000 times a month. No wonder it's devastating. Both of the clowns that got hit with the kicks can't move anymore. He also wonders why the leader is not moving. Logan, the UFC training coach and champion, smiles, telling him that Hobin is using intimidation and he has succeeded. But right now, he's appeared before them like an alpha gorilla, and they can't move a muscle. Hobin also feels his heart racing. He feels ecstasy and bliss flood his nervous system. He wonders if this is what adrenaline feels like. When Yule grabs one of the clowns, taking her hostage and telling everyone to run away or else she gets it, or she doesn't realize that the three clowns were looking for an excuse to run away. Hobin, on the other hand, has tasted his first real fight and also unlocked his hidden talent for fighting. The stream concludes with a little celebration dance, and the clown crew is quickly exposed for being bums. Later, Bommy is walking alone at night texting with Hobin. Just then, she bumps into the lump of sentient ham that's been stalking her, and he leans closer, and before he can act, Kim arrives. The guy grabs his throat, but Kim also grabs something, his man Melons. After all, he's trying to make his opponent lose his cool. That's about they see how professional fighter does in front of a professional wrestler.